Hi, and welcome to the Golden Age Report. First, we're going to take a look at what the ex-president of Russia has predicted for 2023. Next, we'll look into what's been going on in Russia for the past week. Then we will look at what mischief the man of the year in Ukraine has been getting himself into. And finally, we'll peek at the news coming out of the South Pacific. It sounds like Dmitry and I are tuned into the same energy for sure. Dmitry sees the U.S. headed for civil war. Certainly this is not some revolutionary concept, as Bill Gates has also made this prediction. Perhaps he's even helping to orchestrate it. More interestingly, Dmitry sees that Elon Musk comes out of this situation as the new president of the U.S. Those that follow this channel know how important I consider Musk is in shaping our future for out in the West. I don't think that he will be president of the U.S., but I do see him leading the way to knock down the filthy, corrupted dinosaur system. Also, I do see him as leading us into a new golden age. Not only will his companies enable clean energy and transportation, but it will also lead into tapping into new resources in space. Probably most importantly will be the terraforming technology that will ultimately come out of SpaceX. Not only will this enable life on other planets, but it will also allow to reverse the current dying off in our own home planet. Also, if you watch this channel, you might understand that Dmitry and I are on the same page as far as the fall of the EU. Although there are some good ideas within the EU, everything that is corrupt at its very core must go. Probably the most interesting and surprising predictions are the ones surrounding Germany. First, it will take over its weaker neighbors and ultimately end up in a war with France. Well, if you have seen our previous episodes featuring Germany, you know that we've been raising the alarm on some dark signs coming out of that country. It seems a bit much to predict all of this for Germany in 2023, but with the likely economic collapse mixed with their new arms race, you can't totally dismiss something similar rising out of the situation there. As far as the prediction involving the German war with France, that really makes me take pause and take note. We will have to keep a close eye on any new actions coming out of France to try to figure out where they might be headed. A reassessment of France might be called for, as perhaps they might be headed in a different direction. Recall that Macron did meet with Musk out in the US. Then we have this prediction that Poland grabs some Ukrainian territory. Note that the timing of these predictions are right after making a trip out to visit Xi Jinping. It is, however, good to see that Dmitry does see a way out of this mess through Elon Musk. So it sounds like the Russians have gone hunting for Ukrainian artillery systems over the past few days out in the Donetsk region. They had so much success that they were able to totally shut down the shelling of Donetsk city for an entire day. Shelling has since returned at a much lighter level than previous. Normally, the Russian Ministry of Defense reports that they have taken out a few artillery systems on a daily basis, but in a stretch of 3 days, they took out like 30 systems. Ukraine has been able to prevent the fall of Bakhmut by continuing to bring in more and more reserves, including some tank brigades. That had some initial success, but the dominant firepower surrounding Bakhmut has just resulted in Wagner regaining any lost ground and now has even better positions. The DPR region continues to fall little by little, with an outmatched Ukraine continuing to take heavy losses. The strategy of just backfilling losses with fresh troops can't go on indefinitely. Missile strikes of many varieties continue to rain down across all of Ukraine. The previous night, Russia did a mass missile strike in each location that directly supplies the front line. Last night, though, Russia went back to its normal pattern, but it launched its largest missile strike to date. It once again targeted energy and air defense systems across Ukraine. We are hearing that Ukraine is having difficulty keeping up the grid, even without any new missile strikes on the energy facilities. It seems that this situation has left the neocons in a desperate situation where they are openly calling for Putin's assassination. Lavrov has denounced this barbaric talk. On another front, yesterday Russia had their three-way meeting with Syria and Turkey. Will the three try to put an end to the theft of Syrian oil? So Zelensky's latest cowardly move is that he's planning peace talks at the UN without Russia. Does this even make any sense? Zelensky managed to get $44 billion more in aid during his visit out to the US. We are sure that this number will balloon up, as Zelensky is great at continually begging for more. Zelensky said his country has helped the West find itself again and provided a historic opportunity. Well, Certainly it has helped more break out of the fake matrix. I imagine many started to look at other sources of information after hearing for the 100th time that Russia is running out of missiles. Perhaps the historic opportunity is this new BlackRock deal to rebuild Ukraine. They already have a projected price tag on it of $750 billion during the middle of the war. We mentioned in a previous video that we thought the Neo regime might find it more profitable to rebuild during the middle of the war. Zelensky has vowed to turn the future Ukraine into a top world military power. This is certainly no surprise, as we knew this was the goal all along. The dark leaders in Washington had some ritual where they desecrated the American flag and combined it with Ukraine's. It certainly represents this corrupted faction oozing out of the U.S. and forming this new Ukraine. Well, all of these grandiose plans seem completely delusional. So out in the South Pacific, we had this interesting incident where North Korea launched some drones into South Korea and a South Korean plane crashed trying to respond. South Korea is apparently embarrassed that they fired on the drones but were unable to shoot them down. Note that most of the West is reporting that South Korea's fired warning shots at the drones. Does this make any sense? Were they trying to spare the lives of the passengers on the drones? I did note, however, that South Korea seems to have suddenly distanced themselves from this whole anti-China movement. Meanwhile, China and Russia conducted more joint naval exercises. Kim Jong-un has promised to step up the arms race in 2023. Thanks again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and pound that like button. There's going to be a lot more coming. We're just getting started.